Today, two countries, China and Russia, in space, are trying to end America's superpower authority. And America, in competition with both of them, keeps filling space with weapons. But 50, 60 years ago, America in space was facing only Soviet Russia. China was nowhere, when even far, far. So at that time, to put Soviet Russia down, to scare it, America on 9 July 1962 did such a thing which very few people know today. America secretly detonated an atomic bomb about 450 kilometers above in space, carried out a nuclear explosion. This nuclear weapon test was actually a series of American high altitude nuclear explosions, which was named Operation Fishbowl. In this, a total of 5 nuclear explosions were to be carried out, and the explosion we are talking about was named Starfish Prime. Through these explosions, firstly, America wanted to check its nuclear capability, that if a space war happens, can it use its most dangerous weapon, that is the atomic bomb, or not. Then America also wanted to see that if its satellites and space missions are targeted by Soviet Russia with a nuclear weapon, what effect it would have and how it has to deal with it. To see all this, America secretly in July 1962, from almost the middle of the Pacific Ocean, from the small island of Johnston Atoll, started this operation. This island was at a distance of 1,513 kilometers from the American state of Hawaii. But even then, this experiment destroyed the entire electrical system of the island of Hawaii. Millions of electrical devices were burnt, and common people sitting in homes suffered considerable loss. Then one such effort of this explosion had also happened, which was not even in the imagination of those who carried out the explosion beforehand. That was that due to explosions of radiation belt formed around our blue earth, which made many satellites useless and destroyed them. Among these destroyed satellites was also the world's first communication satellite, and the British military satellite was also among them. This radiation belt remained around our earth for decades and kept creating problems. But obviously, 60 years ago, there were not as many satellites as there are today. Therefore, at that time, its effect was not felt that much. You should know that the dirty aspect of space war was started by America 60 years ago through nuclear explosions in space. Then there was Russia going to stay behind. Russia also carried out one after another space nuclear explosions and showed its power to America. Two countries in their war to put each other down were bent upon destroying our blue earth. But the problem was that those satellites and space missions on which their own billions of dollars were invested were also in danger. Therefore, both decided to put the leash for some time on this mutual madness. Friends, this madness was also given a proper name, which an American defense expert, Donald Brennan, called mutually assured destruction. That is, if a nuclear war breaks out, then maybe no one can guarantee who will win. But this thing is certain, that destruction will be of everyone. Anyone, America and Russia then tried to make agreements between themselves to stop this madness, that they would not carry out big explosions in space. A proper agreement could not be made, but both unofficially stopped this series. Although explosions stopped, but countries did not trust each other. Both continued building deep bunkers underground in their countries for protection from nuclear attacks. Such bunkers were in case of a nuclear attack, all arrangements would be present. For example, in the American state Nebraska, there is Out Air Force Base. This is the place where those aircraft were prepared, which dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in World War II. Here a large compound has been built so that if a nuclear attack happens on America, it still remains safe. This is the place where today the American Strategic Command exists. Its responsibility is to fight space war and protect its space assets. You must have heard the name of the Pentagon, which is the center of American defense, but actually its real power is in this Nebraska base, because if America has to win a space war against Russia and China, then this is the center from where this war will fought. This is the place from where America protects its space assets, especially in case of a nuclear war. If you have seen the images of 9/11, then you will remember a picture in which American President George Bush is sitting in a room watching videos of the attacks on a screen. This is the same three-story underground center where he was taken. This is the strategic command. Here sits the team, which is actually the border American army, that is the space army. This is part of the US Air Force Space Command, and its purpose is to fight in space and provide protection. In 2018, President Donald Trump officially approved it, but before that also it was working secretly. It had thousands of employees, billions of dollars budget, and many bases and secret installations around the world. Similarly, Russia also established its space force, and China also created its strategic support force, whose job is to protect satellites, monitor the enemy, and carry out counteractions. Now the question is what these powers keep an eye on. To understand this, let us see the nearest orbit to Earth, that is low Earth orbit, which is about 160 to 200 kilometers above Earth. Here are those satellites which take images of Earth, make Google Maps, do weather forecasting, and also carry out spying. From this same point, Osama bin Laden was also monitored when he was in Abbottabad. The most famous example of this orbit is in the Hubble Space Telescope, which has been in space since 1990 and makes images of billions of kilometers far away. Scientists estimate the age and expansion of the universe with its help. The whole universe is expanding. There are the brilliant discoveries of this Hubble telescope. Then about black holes and supernovae, that is explosions of stars. Its discoveries are also very remarkable. So this Hubble Space Telescope, friends, works on low Earth orbit. In the same circle, in this same orbit, there is also the International Space Station, that space station where scientists from all over the world jointly do research. It is run together by America, Russia, Europe, Japan, and Canada. No single country is in charge or owner. This station is used for peaceful purposes, not for space war. All this is in this same low Earth orbit, that is in the region about 160 to 200 kilometers above Earth. You can understand it like this, that around the world all the satellites of countries, companies and armies that are orbiting, the largest share of them, about 63%, is in the same low Earth orbit. If we tell the exact number, then since 1950 till now, more than 80,000 satellites have been sent in the space. But the satellites which are working at this time are about 4,892, that is roughly 5,000. Among them, 4,078 satellites are in low Earth orbit. Above this, at about 2,000 kilometers above Earth, is medium Earth orbit. In this, there are the least satellites, only 141, that is about 6% of the total. But this is the space where very important satellites are present, which are extremely necessary for our modern systems, especially GPS and GLONASS satellites. GPS, that is Global Positioning System, is actually an American military satellite network, and this about 30 satellites are included, out of which 20 to 24 remain active all the time. They work in the form of a network and give us accurate time up to milliseconds and accurate location up to about 1 meter. When you send someone your location on WhatsApp and it shows accuracy of a few meters, it is because of this system. When many satellites work together, then this system is called a constellation in space science. GPS is also a satellite constellation, and its services are free for the whole world. Its management is done by the branch of the US Air Force, whose purpose is to monitor and protect American military bases spread across the world, but it provides the same facility to common people as well. Wherever you go in the world, your phone number, whether there is internet or not, can show you the way through maps. Ships and the oceans also determine their direction and route through this system. Similarly, Russia's GLONASS system also provides the same services. That is why experts use both systems for more accuracy, so that the chances of error are minimized. Now, after these two orbits come a very important orbit, geostationary orbit, which is about 35 to 40,000 kilometers above Earth. The satellites present here complete one orbit around Earth in about 24 hours, that is equal to Earth's rotation. The advantage of this is that the satellite appears stationary at one place. If you have ever installed a dish antenna on your roof, then you should know that it has to be set in a particular direction, because it is connected to a specific satellite which always remains at the same place. In this same geostationary orbit, there are satellites of telecommunication companies, TV channels, radio stations, and secret communications. America has a strong advantage in this orbit, because in this orbit there are those satellites which give it early warning of any attack. These some satellites also handle the secret communications and military messages of the American president. That is why in this orbit, competition among world powers is the highest. By seeing these three orbits, you must have understood how important and sensitive space is, and how necessary it is for any country to protect its space assets. That is why China, Russia, and America all have established their own forces in space. Since in America information is relatively more important, so as an example we look at America. In Nebraska, in the strategic center, those satellites are monitored which are in geostationary orbit. Here there are 4 extremely important satellites which warn America before any nuclear or missile attack. If even one of them becomes inactive, then the American defense system will become blind from one-fourth part of the world. If this system is active and any country fires an intercontinental missile at America, then in this center our system immediately becomes active. Here, clocks of different times are installed, from Greenwich to Moscow, London, and Karachi. Along with this, there are three special clocks as well. Red effect when America fires a missile, blue effect when the enemy fires a missile, green effect safe response. The green clock is for the team which is present in the underground bunker. As soon as it runs, this team immediately comes into action and prepares to go into space for operation. Because staying on Earth is no longer possible for operation, friends, it is necessary that in geostationary 22,000 kilometers above Earth's orbit, which is the lowest and the highest orbit, the American defense satellites orbiting there are working correctly. No one should hit them, and no one should even come in their path. But China and Russia both have now acquired this capability that they can head up to this highest orbit of space, which is called geostationary orbit, to show their power, just like China has brought its installations close to American forces on land and in the sea. In the same way, in space also, China has started sending its satellites to the American satellites in geostationary orbit. Russian satellites, friends, reach close to American security-related satellites in every orbit and orbit there. Rather, they also keep changing orbit, which is a very highly technical and expert level task. This causes loss to America that its secret phone lines and secret messages, which no one in the world can decode, can be caught in between by Russia and Chinese satellites, and can even be decoded. On the other hand, America has also the same. To obtain information of Chinese and Russian sensitive satellites, it has separated its more powerful satellites from low Earth orbit to high Earth orbit. Remember, friends, that superiority is still of America. It is since scientifically ahead of China and Russia. That is why China and Russia want to end its superpower status, because if power decreases, it will be America's, while China and Russia's will increase. To end this American space power, among the weapons that have been prepared, one important weapon is such a satellite which hijacks the enemy's satellite, or steals its information, or makes it useless. In making such satellites, very rapid progress is happening. Such a satellite which performs differently actions against the enemy is called the kamikaze satellite. In 2014, Russia launched one such satellite. Apparently, it was a normal weather information providing communication satellite. After launch, some of its pieces scattered in space, as usually happens. But the Space Department of the US Air Force noted after a few weeks that one separated piece of the satellite suddenly became active and started orbiting by changing orbits. This was unusual, and this could only be possible if it was actually a kamikaze satellite, which it was. To hide it, it was kept for some time in the form of space debris. Space debris are those broken pieces which remain in space after destruction of satellites or after space missions. Waste of the International Space Station is also included in it. These either burn and finish in Earth's atmosphere or keep orbiting in different orbits, one of which is also called graveyard orbit. This Russian kamikaze satellite was Cosmos 2499. which the Americans identified in time and tried to protect their system, in which they were quite successful. These space forces are very different from traditional armies. Here there are no fields or tanks but large screens. Every personnel who is called defense duty officer is responsible for monitoring a specific region of space. On the screens in front of him, space is shown in three-dimensional form, and he can zoom and see anything with the help of mouse and keyboard, even a very small object. For this purpose, special software have been designed on which these space forces work. They have to remain alert all the time because in space objects move with extremely high speed, even many times faster than a bullet. Therefore, even a small piece can become a dangerous weapon. If any piece is coming even from far toward an important installation, it cannot be ignored because even a few seconds of delay can cause great destruction. If such a piece collides with the satellite, not only it will be destroyed, but thousands of more pieces will be created, which will become a threat for other satellites. Apart from this, space forces also have to monitor laser weapons operated from Earth, which can target satellites in low orbit Earth. Such weapons are used by countries like Iran, North Korea, and Israel. Thus, space soldiers protect their borders just like ground soldiers do on borders. Now let us talk about experiments of destroying satellites. On 11 January 2007, China launched a rocket which collided with its own weather satellite and destroyed it. This was actually a successful test of an anti-satellite missile. Through this, China showed the world that it can destroy any satellite. However, this spread thousands of pieces in space, on which there was strong criticism worldwide. A few weeks later, in February 2008, America also destroyed its own faulty satellite with the missile and named it Operation Burn Frost. This test apparently was a simple test, but in the world it was seen in the same way that just as China had warned America, now America has also warned China that it also has anti-satellite missiles and it can fire them not only from land but also from sea. Can fire in any orbit and has the capability to destroy any satellite anytime, anywhere. So Chinese brother think a little. In this way, in the form of lasers, missiles, atomic bombs and kamikaze satellites, a dangerous race of space weapons has started. America, China and Russia all there to remain in contact with their forces spread on land, to protect their bases, to spy on the enemy, and to protect infrastructure present in space. Or sending small satellites into space. They are called nano and micro satellites. At the time you are watching this video, till its uploading date, above your heads in the sky, hundreds of such micro and nano satellites are orbiting. In this graph, see how their number is increasing so rapidly everywhere. Small satellites are being used more also because detecting them and targeting them with missiles is more difficult compared to large satellites. During this great game, even if World War III does not happen on land, this war happening in space. will push us at least 100 years back. Our modern world can tolerate some effects of ground war but will not be able to tolerate space war. If space war happens and weapons are used, then its effects will start appearing on Earth at the speed of electricity. Televisions will shut down, internet connections will become slow and eventually stop. Even 1 kilobyte speed will become difficult. ATM machines will stop working. Financial transactions will be affected. Tracking systems will jam. In oceans, the system for ships to determine direction will not work. They may lose their way. Trading in stock markets will stop due to lack of accurate timing. Online transaction will be suspended. In developed countries, traffic signals and railway systems will be affected. Trains will stop. Weather predictions will stop. Automatic cars will start colliding. Power grids will shut down, and along with that, water supply may also stop. These are just small effects. Rather, your smartphones will also stop working. Your yourself can imagine how much cost will separate from all this. Such disorder that commerce will not be able to control. By the time the system is restored, if it is restored, much will already have been destroyed, and if it is not restored, then consider it returned to the old century like the year 1922. So friends, this was the fifth true story of the Invisible Game series. In the previous video, we discussed about such a weapon which America is going to deploy against China. We had to talk about it in this video, but this video has become quite long, so we will talk about that weapon in the next video, and we'll also tell you what Russia did to influence American elections. Thank you.